Damn. So he started damn. How's it going, everybody? This is Murdoch. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm about to share everything with you. I'm getting it set up. Uh, Big day today for all of us, for everybody, but most especially for the survivors of the East Area Rapist, Original Night Stalker, Golden State Killer crime series. Big day for these ladies and gentlemen. It's come to this. All of this has come to this. J Plot first. Hey, J Plot. Angie McCormick, daughter of Debbie Domingo. Hello, Wesley. Very big day. Oh, very big day indeed, dear. Very big day. Did you get to go? I take it you probably didn't get the roll up there. Let's see. I'm gonna be sharing the live stream part at the bottom. Look at that bald head. I'm sorry, I keep looking at his picture. Oh my God, forgive me. I work nights, so I'm tired. I'm so tired. There we go. And I'm about to watch this on 4K. Let's see. Just mom went. Just Debbie went. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Well, I'm there with her in spirit, just as you are. For those of you just joining us, Angie McCormick is the daughter of Debbie Domingo, who is in Sacramento today. And no new activity on the live stream page. I am, however, going to be sharing the page where the live stream will be. Let's see. I've got it up on here too. I've got it up on like 3 devices. Main one I want to watch though, because it's the sentencing. I've got it up on the 4K. So that's where I want to see it. J Plot says gonna be bouncing around. Definitely back when it starts. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go to the bathroom at one point before it starts. But no, if it's anything like last time when it happened like this, remember it it cut on. It cut on like randomly. It cut on real fast. We were sitting there talking and scratching our heads like, are we watching the right damn thing? Are we all just what's the deal here? And then all of a sudden it came on and there he was. And the live stream cut on when the attorney with the goatee was talking. Rainbow Mr. Murder Inc. has hopped into the conversation. Wesley Murder. And that's what he says. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you're all doing really, really good. Let's see. Y'all gotta forgive the appearance. Y'all gotta forgive this. I work nights, so and yesterday I worked day and night and not much sleep, but I'm not missing this for though. I'm not missing this for the world. Now if you check the chat section, you will see the link I have given to the Sacramento County YouTube page, and that's where it will be. Today is supposed to be extremely emotional for all the sisters, especially mom. Dad was supposed to go, and his flight got canceled. What the? at work now, says Angie. I've been thinking of your mom a lot lately. Me and her run that Facebook page, but your mom is the one of the hardest working ladies I've ever met in my life. She is always she's always trying. Let's see, trying to get more people to hop in, get them directly. Oh my goodness, so much is going on right now. Funny enough, it's not. I got so many emails right now that I'm reading through that it is not it is unreal. It is unreal. Angie McCormick says her mom Debbie works too hard. I would concur. I would concur. She has always struck me as especially when we went into it like the Facebook page early on, and then towards the middle, I just kind of lost my edge for online stuff. I just kind of, to be totally honest with you, like I lost my. Oh my God, is that my hair? Oh no, we gotta fix that. All right, I'm gonna be back. Mm. Now here is y'all's mission. If anybody hops in, and says anything, I'm back in 5. But if they're looking for the live stream, share that link I shared. Share that link I shared everywhere you go. If somebody's trying to find it, we're trying to direct them to it. I gotta go like get some water because I literally just rolled my ass over and woke up. I wasn't gonna go to sleep, but I did. And please don't mind my curtains. My curtains is, I mean, they're not mine. got mad. So I got drinks. When JJD's getting sentenced, Super Kids asked. Anytime we're waiting on the live stream to come up, snap up into place. It's going to take however long it takes them to turn the damn feed on. I just had my phone. Let's see. Do you want to see the sentencing? Presser is 12:30. Thank you, Jay Platt. And for those of you who are wondering, no, I was unable to quit smoking. It's the hardest damn thing I've ever had to quit. Let's see. My co-star is Midnight, the cat. She's over here. If you see things shaking or wiggling, it's her. She needy. So, for those of you just joining us, my name is Wesley. You can call me Murdoch. We're going to be directing everybody. The link has already been shared. I'm going to share it again just in case. I'm going to share it. You can go to the Pro Boards. It's Richmond put it all in the top part. You just click on it. It's the Sacramento Sheriff's Department's YouTube homepage. That's where it'll be. And it'll be less than an hour. Ooh. Less than an hour. All this is going to make sense. Maybe not all of it, but the stuff that matters. As I said, I'm sorry I just rolled over and woke up working nights, and I'm not missing this. Hell no. No way. No way. No chance am I missing this. Trying to get some of our old crew up in here. This ain't even about trying to get like high numbers. I'm not even sharing it on the Pro Boards this time, or my live stream anyway. Everybody who's subscribed to me, this is for us. Oh my God, the influx of like emails right now is crazy. I'm getting messages from people I haven't heard from in a long time. So far, Shelly and Debbie and Jane are all. I'm sure Jane's there. Yeah, Jane's there. I haven't spoke with her too much. But Shelly and Debbie, I know are there. And being awesome. And I missed them. I can't believe it's come to this. Like for real. Like I can't believe it's all this time. All this. Who'd have thought it's 2020? I'll be damned if it's 2020. 2020, 2019, 2018, last 3 years. 3 years ago, I still am wrapping my head around that part. It's something we would joke about being solved. It's something we would make fun of being solved. It's something we would doubt being solved. It's something we would hope being solved. It was something we would. There was so many things. Then it was solved. We knew who it was. And then it turned. Trust me, I'm right there with you guys. It turned. and I'm unable to like wrap my head around the new way it works. I'm trying here. It's all come to this. It's all come to this. Not only do we have a suspect, now we've got him. Him. There he is. You know. I am going to do everything in my power to share everything I find with you guys. Angie McCormick, daughter of Debbie Domingo, says, countdown 21 minutes. Longest. Oh, man. I got a message from Dan, who's a podcaster I met in Nashville. He's a really nice guy. He's a member of the forum. Let's see. I think I will share it on that small page. And to those of you that PM'd me last night or early this morning, thank you so much. That was so super sweet. So many familiar faces are popping up, and it moves me. It moveth me. Let's see. Burp, 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 burp. Burp, 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 burp. Yeah, I'll share that there. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, the new members influx isn't as bad as I thought it'd be. I think it's going to change. I mean, when he got arrested, I remember the influx of new members went from 3 to 6 per hour, and then went to like 20 new people per minute trying to get an account. And because of new conditions on the forum, there are a lot of conditions were taken now. A lot of precautions, because there's a lot of people out there that still mean to do a lot of damage. Sunny herself. Love you, Wesley. Thank you. Debbie, love you too. Love to you. Your mom is really nice. Mom is really nice, Angie. She's one of my favorite people. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to moderate the influx of these people. Now it's starting to pick up. Let's see. So did anybody happen to see the special last night? Was anybody get a chance to watch that? I did not, because HBO no bueno. It's a little too early to be. Water's always good, but I prefer coffee when I wake up. When I'm out of coffee, and I wasn't going to make it to the store and back. Anybody see the HBO special last night? Part 1 of Gone in the Dark. I didn't get a chance to see it. Honestly, me and my roommate didn't get home till 4 or 5 in the morning. I had to do laundry last night. It's gonna be a long week. That's why I'm wearing this raggedy shirt. It's clean. As I said, my goal is going to be put this up on my 4K and watch him go down. Here we go. All right. So if I'm correct, it's going to pop up on the home page. So we're going to do it on. We're going to set the home page up. J Plot, no hobo, and I am not a MM or her book fan. Oh wow, yeah, people are still salty about that, which it's bittersweet, all of it. In the regards of Michelle McNamara, it's bittersweet. There were mistakes made. She's not here to clarify or defend herself, but here we are. There we go. I watched to support Mike, Mr. Morph, Mr. True Crime Guy. I watched to support him. I watched to support the sister survivors involved. I watched the sister survivors involved. Mike, friends I have that I know are on that show, and I watch it. I will watch it for them. But did it have reenactments? Is that true? Did it have reenactments of it? And if so, were they better than everything else they've tried as far as Iran's reenactments are? Because so far the best reenactments I think I've ever seen were Unsolved Mysteries. Man, today's a crazy day already. What a Monday. What a way to begin the week. I'm sitting here waiting right now. Angie, do you have the countdown to it? Do you have the what are you looking at on your computer right now? Because I've shared what I'm looking at, and there's nothing. I got Department 24, Sacramento Superior Court. No recent activity, so I'm assuming it's going to when it begins when they open up the feed, it's going to. I'm here in North Carolina where it's like 12, 19 right now. Just counting on your own 11 minutes. Yep. So apparently, the way this is going to look is going to look like some Imperial shit out of Star Wars. Is the way it was described in yesterday's LA Mag article with Mr. Huddle. It was they said that everybody was going to be they were going to be not in the courthouse, but they were going to be in a building, in the same building where JJD earned degrees. That the judge and everybody's going to be wearing the masks, except that JJD and his defense attorneys are going to be clear so you can see their mouths, so you can actually like see them talking. And I'm like, that's the most Star Wars soundingest thing I ever heard. I don't know why I thought Star Wars. It's more like Ex Machina, I guess. And saying it. You got mad, so I got drinks. Sorry, I have that song stuck in my head. It's a good song. I tried to listen to more Halsey last night, but I tried to stay up, but I dozed off. I was out, and I woke up. My cat was on my head. It's been a lit 24 hours. I'm not excited about work time. Andrew McCormick said, didn't know he got degrees there. The building they're going to be in, this is according to the LA Magazine article, that this is the building where he graduated to become. It may not have been degrees. It might have been where he got brought sworn in as a police officer. Actually, I gotta go back and read that shit again. Am I smoking again? Yeah, I failed big time. Yes, I am. I have been working. It put me on from 5 days to 6 days, and now this week is 7 days. 7 day stretch. So I've been pretty tired, and this is the only thing that keeps me awake most days. I'm gonna try to quit again probably in a week. I'm hoping in about a week I wanna try again. Hell, my roommate failed too. Oh no, he got away from. Actually, he beat it. He beat it. I'm not gonna lie. He asked for a cigarette here and there, but he got away from the vape. He got away from all of it. Angie McCormick says, "Bad Wesley. Don't tell Debbie. That's okay. You can tell her anything you want to about me. I'm pretty transparent." I'm waiting for this to pop up, man. Oh, I just want it to pop up on my 4K. I want to see this go down in high definition. I want this to be over. And then I'm hoping what will happen is that everything will die down after a while. And then this will peacefully move along. But that won't happen for a month or two. Start happening anyway. Then we can move on. I got, man. So I got drinks. Yep. Let's see here, Mighty. Hey, Max. I'm sorry. Like this is nerve wracking. Counting down the minutes. Counting down to JJD's last court appearance ever of ever. 7 minutes, says Angie McCormick, daughter of Debbie Domingo. Everybody say hi to Debbie's daughter. She's a very dear friend of mine, and I'm very happy that you're here with me today and everybody else. Thank you. I'm sorry you didn't get to go with your mom. I know you really wanted to. You took away your grandma, and I can't possibly say I'd understand how you feel, but I do understand the anxiety of not being there. I do get that very, very much. I wanted more than anything to be there today. I wanted more than anything on this planet to be there today. I had ideas for signs to hold up outside while they're inside to let them know I'm outside because I love them. I wanted to be there so bad. But I'll settle for this because this is where I started with you guys. Nerves are wrecked. You got this, Angie. You got this. You got this. It's going to be okay. J Plot says, we shall see what happens, but I think information-wise, folks are going to be disappointed. Honestly, I got everything I needed to know. Everything in my old live streams that I was doing that I ever asked about, I got everything. I have everything I've wanted to know. Not that what I wanted to know is relevant at all. I never said it was, but everything I've wanted to know, all the blank holes that I wondered about. What was his job in the 80s? Was he? How long had his hair been receding? And oh shit. Oh, what was his job? Or no, where did he live in the 80s? All that stuff like that got resolved. All that got resolved yesterday in one article. I was on the fence about the idea of Huddle's brother, like Mr. Huddle, writing the book. But after that, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. Like he just moved stuff around in a way that it all made sense. I now one picture of JJD with his hair up to here. I'm like, I knew it. Why is that so important to me? I don't know. I don't know. So a big part of it is one day I'd like to go back to the 1980s crimes and try to dig through composite sketches, maybe. Because the old composite sketches, you remember, people always used to talk about the hair, shoulder length hair, dude's wearing a wig. I mean, the dude had half. It's just something that bugged me for years. Angie McCormick says, "I want to hear him admit it." I know you do. I know you do, Sweet Pea. I would say try to look at this way. Him taking these set of charges and admitting to them, well, this is him admitting to it. This is a way of him to admit it. He snaked his way out of speaking. He's going to have to say something today. He's going to have to say. I think it's going to be a Gary Ridgway situation. I think that's what we're going to get. They're going to go through the counts and ask him, and he's going to say, guilty of this, yes. Guilty of this, yes. Hell, the way it's been going, the attorneys will probably answer for him. I don't know, though. I don't know. That's just my speculations. Y'all might know better about that than I do. 3 minutes. J Plot says, his hairline retreated faster than the French army. It is. He got mad, so I got drinks. And here we go. It's on. It's on. It's lit. Honorable Michael G. Bowman. We got one view looking at where the judge is going to sit, and dude, that's where he's going. We're going to look right at him. We're going to look right at him. I see you ducking. I see you ducking. You can't fool me. All right, there's the defense attorney. There's the defense attorney. Oh, I'm watching it too. Lectern. There he is. JJD has appeared, and he is doing his thing. They got the face shield on him. He looks like, what's he making me think of? What's he making me think of? So they're just wearing face shields. They're not even wearing the full masks. Lawyers talking to JJD. JJD's playing dumb. This is playing dumb. This is playing dumb. He ain't in a cage this time. To any sister survivors, any family members, on behalf of Angie and me and the others that are there today, we're here with you. We got your back. We got each other's back. And I'm not sharing this anymore. It's not about me. I'll be damned if COVID didn't complicate things. Look at him. Like, what? I'm looking at his defense attorney, and I see the frustration in her face. I can see it. I can see it. She's like, I am so glad today is the day. I'm so glad that it's going to be over. I can already tell. Like, here we go.
All rise. Department 24 of the Superior Court of California, in and for the County of Sacramento, is in session. The Honorable Michael Bowman,
They're standing him
Judge,
up.
presiding. Please be seated and come to order.
I can't hear him. He forgot to turn his microphone on. Thank you. That judge went in there ready to get this over with. Probably can't wear a mask so they can hear him. I think they have to see the face. I mean, that guard walked up there. You can hear him too. Okay, here we go. You can hear him now.
All right, thank you. I am Judge Michael Bowman, Judge of Superior Court here in Sacramento. Welcome to Department 24. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, you can see this matter. That's to accommodate the public's right, both the victim's right, the victim's family's right to be present. The court has granted access to the press as well. This matter is being live streamed. We have taken the temperature of all individuals present. I'm asking all individuals to wear their masks, with the exception of the attorneys while speaking on the record. I wear my mask unless I'm speaking on the record. This is an effort to assist the court reporter to make sure you have a complete, clear record. I've also reminded everybody we're still in court, and there's no talking in the audience, no recording, no videotaping unless previously authorized by court. Taking a break at approximately 10:45 for 30 minutes.
Oh, this is going to be long.
Calling the case, State of California versus Joseph James Deangelis, case 18 FB 008017. Joseph James Deangelis, thank you for the name, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can I have the attorney state their names for the record, please, starting with your defense?
Alice Michael on behalf of
Son of a bitch.
Thank you.
Fair press representing Mr. D'Angelo.
Thank you.
Diane Howard on behalf of Mr. D'Angelo.
All right, thank you. Can I have, please, the elected prosecutors from each county, please stand and identify themselves?
Good morning, Your Honor. Anne Marie Schubert, Sacramento County District Attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Greg Todd, Ventura County District Attorney.
Good morning. I'm Joyce Dudley, Santa Barbara County's District Attorney.
Good morning, Dinah Beckton, Contra Costa County District Attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes, team. Good morning, Your Honor. Todd Spitzer, District Attorney, Orange County.
Good morning, Your Honor. Tori River Salazar on behalf of the people of San Joaquin County.
Good morning, Jeff Reisick, Yolo County District Attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nancy O'Malley, Alameda County District Attorney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Ventura County District Attorney.
The attorneys of the prosecution team, introduce themselves.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dave Olivezos, Assistant District Attorney, Tulare County, for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Deborah Lloyd, Assistant District Attorney for the County of Orange for the people of the state of California. Good morning, Your Honor. Amy Holiday, Assistant Chief Deputy District Attorney from Sacramento County on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Chin Wu Ho, Assistant Chief District Attorney, Sacramento County, on behalf of the people. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kelly Duncan, Chief Deputy District Attorney, Santa Barbara County, for the people of the state of California.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Cheryl Temple, Chief Assistant District Attorney for the County of Ventura for the people of the state of California.
Spread out, sitting 6
Good
feet
morning,
apart,
Your Honor.
says Eler.
James Johnson, Chief Assistant District Attorney of the County of Contra Costa on behalf of the people of the state of California.
Morning, Your Honor. Todd Spitzer, District Attorney, Orange County, on behalf of the people of Orange County and the people of the state of California.
Thank you, sir.
If anybody
There's a
has any
change of
pictures.
plea and disposition in this matter. My understanding is Deputy District Attorney Amy Holiday, would you please state the terms of the proposed agreement, the agreement upon, the sentences agreed upon, as well as the people's recommendations?
Here we go. Share it.
Good morning, Your Honor. Amy Holiday, Assistant Chief Deputy District Attorney for Sacramento County on behalf of the people of the state of California. It is our understanding that there will be a change of plea this morning.
Change
The
it.
terms of the proposed agreement and the agreed upon sentence are as follows. The defendant, Joseph Deangelo, will enter a guilty plea to all charged counts from special circumstances, allegations, and enhancements. As to the murders, the defendant will plead guilty to 13 counts of first-degree murder. He will say guilty to the charged offenses and I admit to the special circumstances, allegations, and enhancements. In regards to the uncharged acts, the defendant will make admissions to each incident alleged. The defendant will say, I admit to all the uncharged offenses that have been alleged. These uncharged offenses occurred in Sacramento, Yolo, San Joaquin, Stanislaus, Contra Costa, Alameda, and Santa Clara County. As a result of the defendant's admissions to these uncharged offenses, the above listed counties have agreed to abstain from charging the defendant with any offenses related to those specific incidents for which he admits responsibility. All victims and victims' family members of charged and uncharged offenses will be able to give victim impact statements at the judgment and sentencing without limitation to time or content.
Yes, yes, yes.
People of the
That's
state
what I'm
of
talking
California
about. Yes.
are prepared to remove the penalty of death as an option based on the following reasons. The defendant has expressed a willingness to resolve the charges against him prior to proceeding with preliminary hearing and trial. The defendant is admitting wrongdoing at a relatively early stage of the legal proceedings. The defendant is admitting to all of the murders alleged against
J
him
Plot, share the
as first-degree murders.
if you would please share the
The defendant
CBS
is admitting
link.
to all other charged crimes
pretty
and
please.
uncharged crimes that can be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that are known at this time alleged against him. The wishes of the victims and their next of kin. In exchange for his guilty pleas and admissions, the defendant will be sentenced to state prison for life without parole pursuant to Penal Code 190, subsection A, 190.1, 190.2, and 190.3. In addition, he will be sentenced to 11 consecutive counts of life without possibility of parole, with 15 concurrent life sentences, with weapons allegations to run concurrent or consecutive by law. The defendant will hereby withdraw his pending motions as of today, June 29, 2020. With approval from the court, both sides hereby waive referral of the matter to the probation department for a formal report pursuant to California Penal Code, Section 1203,
Who wants to bet he's going to
subsection
file
B,
appeals?
Subsection 4, and in its place request a Penal Code 1203C report. The defendant will be required to register as a sex offender for the remainder of his lifetime. The defendant will be prohibited from owning, purchasing, receiving, possessing, or having under his control any firearm for the rest of his life. The defendant shall pay all requisite fees, fines, and restitution, including restitution to the victims in an amount to be determined. The defendant will be ineligible to receive work time credit and shall submit blood and saliva samples, thumbprints, and palm prints pursuant to Penal Code Section 296. Defendant shall submit to a blood test for AIDS pursuant to Penal Code Section 1202.1. Finally, the defendant shall enter a waiver of all amendment rights.
Thank you, Counselor.
This time, Your Honor, would you like the reasons for the disposition?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, the reason for the disposition is as follows. The defendant's known crimes stretch over a 10-year period, from 1975 through 1986. His identity was not discovered until 2018, and he was subsequently arrested on April 24, 2018. Today, all of the crimes alleged are between 34 and 45 years old. During the time we have waited for the identity of this person who committed these crimes to be discovered, many of the victims, witnesses, and law enforcement personnel involved have passed away. Now, as we wait for the legal proceedings to move forward, many of the victims, witnesses, and law enforcement are in their 80s and 90s. Many of these people, all deeply affected by these crimes, may not be with us at the time of jury trial.
McGowan.
The family members of the murder victims have waited for decades for justice for their loved ones. The sexual assault victims have waited decades for justice. The men whose wives or girlfriends were sexually assaulted have waited decades for justice. The final resolution of this case at this time will allow the remaining victims and family members of the victims to hear the defendant admit that he committed these acts and crimes, and will allow them to be heard at the time of sentencing. The current state of the COVID-19 pandemic has also contributed to the reasons for this disposition. The preliminary hearing was scheduled to have started this past May. It had to be postponed because of court closures and the dangers of bringing elderly or high-risk individuals into the courtroom in a public setting. The pandemic has also caused the availability of courtrooms and jurors to be limited because of social distancing requirements. All of this has contributed to extending the timeline for the preliminary hearing and the jury trial, and may further impact the availability of our victims and witnesses in the future.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They deserve the opportunity, the victims and the next of kin, to be present when the verdicts are finally read. The time for justice stands in front of us now.
Today.
In the interest of justice for the victims,
Today.
the families, and the communities which we serve, this plea at this time is in the best interest of the people of the state of California.
Thank you. Defense counsel, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Wow. Good job.
Thank you. You waive the full reading of the charging document? Yes. Mr. Deangelo, at any time during this hearing, if you do not understand what is taking place or if you have any questions, please stop. The court will either answer your questions or I'll ask counsel to answer any questions that you have. Do you understand, sir?
Did they say he had AIDS?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
You understand, Mr. Deangelo, that you'll be entering guilty pleas to 13 counts of murder in the first degree, committing special circumstances, enhancements, as well as committing the uncharged act. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah.
It's anticipated that you will receive 11 consecutive life without the possibility of parole sentences, 15 concurrent life sentences. Additional time for weapon enhancements will be imposed as mandated by law. Do you understand that as well, sir?
Yes.
The aforementioned uncharged acts that you will be admitting to, having occurred in Sacramento County, Yolo County, San Joaquin County, Stanislaus County, Contra Costa County, Alameda County, as well as Santa Clara County. As a result of these admissions to these uncharged acts, the above listed counties have agreed to abstain from charging you with any offenses stemming from or related to those specific events for which will be admitting responsibility. All victims and victims' family members of the charged as well as the uncharged acts will be able to give a victim impact statement at judgment and sentencing without limitation as to time and without limitation as to content. At the time of judgment and sentence, you'll receive 11 consecutive life without the possibility of parole sentences with 15 concurrent life sentences. Additional time, as stated, for the weapon enhancements will be imposed as mandated by law. You will not be considered for any other sentence. You understand, sir?
Yes.
In addition, you agree to withdraw all pending motion as to today's date, June 29th, 2020. As a condition of this plea, you will agree to waive any and all appellate rights. You understand the terms of this plea, Mr. Deangelis?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, have you had enough time to speak to your attorneys and discuss this case, this plea, as well as have all your questions answered?
Yeah.
Have you had time to speak to your attorneys about the elements of the charges against you, the possible defenses to those charges, and the consequences of this plea?
Yes.
Because this is a felony, this plea can be used against you in later civil proceedings as if you were found guilty after a jury trial. You cannot change your mind after I accept your pleas today. You understand, sir?
Yes.
Damn.
Is that what you're prepared to do today, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Deangelo, before I take your plea of admissions, the court must be satisfied that you understand the possible consequences of this plea of guilty, as well as your admissions to any special circumstance, enhancement, or uncharged acts. First, you are pleading to serious or violent felonies, which are strikes under the California.
If anybody has a link to the CBS coverage, please share it. I want to
Additional
see
and
that.
separate life sentence for any new offense. You'll be ordered to pay restitution to the victim or victim's family in an amount to be determined by the court, as well as any fees and fines as mandated by law. If you dispute the amount of restitution ordered, you may request a hearing. Any restitution requested by the victim will be submitted to the probation department. You'll be directed to counsel for prosecution, as well as Alice Michael and Joe Kress on behalf of the defense. You'll be required to register with law enforcement in any city or county in which you reside as a sex offender. That registration is a lifetime requirement pursuant to Penal Code Section 290. If you're not a citizen of the United States, plead the result of deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denied naturalization. A sample of your DNA, fingerprints, and palm prints will be taken and included in the California Department of Justice DNA database. You'll be prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm or ammunition for the rest of your life. And due to the nature of these charges, you'll be ineligible to receive work time credits. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
Do you all
Did you say
further
jerk up?
understand and agree that the court may consider any dismissed charges or admissions to any uncharged acts in deciding your sentence, including ordering restitution?
Yes.
Harvey waiver is entered. Do you understand the consequences of this plea as I've explained it so far, sir?
Yes.
This is a conditional plea that we're discussing today. That means that the sentence we're discussing today is proposed. Your case will be set for judgment and sentence at a future date. At that judgment and sentence hearing, the court's approval of the indicated sentence we're discussing today is not binding on the court. That means the court may withdraw its approval in light of further consideration. If this court withdraws its approval of today's plea agreement, you'll be permitted to withdraw your guilty pleas if you desire to do so, and if so, this case will be rescheduled for a preliminary hearing. However, you will be bound by this plea today unless the court, after further consideration, rejects this plea agreement. In other words, you do not get to change your mind after I accept your plea. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Deangelo, before I can accept your plea and accept any admissions, it must be clear to the court that you understand and give up and waive certain rights. You do have a right to a preliminary hearing where the people are required to prove there's probable cause to believe a felony has been committed and that you are the person who committed it. You have the right to a speedy and public jury trial where the prosecution has the burden of proof of proving you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a jury trial on the charges against you, including attached enhancements and including any special circumstance allegations. The jury is made up of 12 members of the community. Through your counsel, you would have the right to participate in jury selection. All 12 jurors must unanimously agree in order to render a verdict on the charges against you, including enhancements, also including any
This
special
is
circumstance allegations.
Ridiculous.
If this matter were to go forward to jury trial, at the penalty phase, all jurors would have to agree unanimously that you agree to a sentence of death or life in prison without the possibility of parole. Do you understand the rights if I explained them so far, sir?
Yes.
Also, at this preliminary hearing and at your jury trial, including the penalty phase, you would have the right through your attorney to see, hear, and confront the witnesses against you, to have them testify under oath and have your attorneys question those witnesses against you. You have the right to present a defense, to present your own witnesses and evidence, the right to use the court's subpoena power to bring in witnesses on your behalf and to testify on your own behalf. You also have the right to remain silent and not to incriminate yourself. This means you have the right not to say anything against you. That includes pleading guilty to these charges. Mr. Deangelis, do you have any questions as to the rights you're giving up, including your right to a jury trial?
Yes. No.
No.
Have you discussed these rights with your attorney?
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty and making these admissions will be giving up all of these rights?
Yeah.
Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
Do you understand and give up each of these rights, including your right to a jury trial?
Yes.
You also have a right to a jury trial on the same rights we just discussed on the special circumstance allegations. In other words, the people would be required to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed murder during the course of a rape in violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, Paren A, Paren 17, Paren 3, murder during the course of a burglary in violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, Paren A, Paren 17, Paren 7, and that you committed multiple murders in violation of Penal Code Section 190.3, Paren A, Paren 3. Do you understand and waive your right to a jury trial on the special circumstance allegations as well, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Deangelo, you also have a right to appeal your case, and do you understand that
I wish I
unless
could
you
screen
give
share
up
on here
that
with you
right to
guys
an
and we can
appeal,
watch it this
the
way.
law would permit you to appeal to a higher court following your plea of guilty in order to raise reasonable constitutional, jurisdictional, or other grounds of the legality of the proceedings against you, or any ruling that's already been made in your case, or to challenge a search and seizure ruling made in a motion to suppress evidence. You hereby waive your right to an appeal on this case.
Yes.
Sir, has any promises been made to you that we've not stated here in open court?
No.
Has any member of your family or yourself been threatened or forced in any way for you to enter this plea?
No.
Are you entering this plea and admission freely and voluntarily after fully discussing it with your attorney because it is what you want to do and you believe it is in your best interest?
Yes.
Are you at this time under the influence of any alcohol, drug, or medication that could affect your judgment or ability to attend this plea?
I wish.
No.
Have you taken any medication, drugs, or pills, or alcohol in the last 24 hours?
No.
Counsel, have you discussed the consequences of this plea with Mr. Deangelo, and are you satisfied that his plea is knowing, intelligent, voluntary, and he is competent to enter this plea?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, have you discussed the elements of the charges against your client, all the possible defenses to those charges, and the consequences of this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you feel he is competent to enter this plea?
We do, Your Honor.
Do you-
This,
do you
these attorneys
consent
want
to
this
entering
over with.
plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are the terms of the plea, as I've explained them thus far, accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you join in the waivers, including the defendant's right to a preliminary hearing as well as trial, right by a jury trial? Excuse me.
We do, Your Honor.
All right, can the, each attorney from each county, could you please state whether or not you waive your right to a preliminary hearing as well as your right to a jury trial? Let's start with representatives from Tulare County.
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Santa Barbara County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Ventura County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Contra Costa County,
Yes, Your Honor.
Orange County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Sacramento County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
San Joaquin County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Stanislaus County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Yolo County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Santa Clara County,
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
and Alameda County.
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Deangelo, do you have any questions before we proceed further?
No.
No.
Thank you. Deputy District Attorney Tin Ho, it's my understanding that people wish to provide an introductory factual basis that applies to all counties.
The scope of Joseph Deangelis' crime spree is simply staggering, encompassing 13 known murders and almost 50 rapes between 1975 and 1986. His monikers reflect the sweeping geographical impact of his crimes: the Visalia ransack, the East Area rapist, the original Night Stalker, and the Golden State Killer.
Yep.
Each time he escaped, slipping away silently into the night, leaving communities terrified for years. For over 40 years, the biggest question remained unanswered: who was the serial killer and rapist? Detectives from counties throughout the state poured endless resources into answering that one question. Even after the trial, detectives continued to investigate the case that haunted generations of law enforcement. Never gave up, and neither did the prosecutors from those counties. In June of 2016, the Sacramento Sheriff's Department, partnering with the FBI and other law enforcement agencies by offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the identification of this person. This announcement came at a
Thank
press
you,
conference
Walter.
held 40 years after the first known rape in Sacramento. Within months of that press conference, Sacramento District Attorney Anne Marie Schuler convened a meeting of all involved counties, including the elected district attorneys, asking each
Here's
to
the
dedicate more
here's
resources
the
to
CBS
answer
coverage.
that question. Those DAs and officers responded: Ventura,
There's the CBS coverage. You can
Santa Barbara,
click that link
Tulare,
and go to
Alameda,
it.
Contra Costa,
I'm checking.
Stanislaus, San Joaquin, Santa Clara, and Sacramento. Answer the call. In the fall of 2017, Contra Costa Assistant Chief Investigator Paul Holmes asked District Attorney Schuler to assist in using a new DNA tool, Investigative Genetic Genealogy, IGG, to possibly develop a lead in the case. Investigator Holmes collaborated with the
I'm gonna
Ventura
switch to that
County
one.
District Attorney's Office, which had located an unopened sexual assault kit collected from the homicides of Lyman and Charlene Smith, in which Charlene was sexually assaulted. In January of 2018, a semen from the vaginal sample in Charlene's kit was used to develop a specialized DNA profile intended for investigative genetic genealogy. The DNA profile can be uploaded to a publicly available genetic genealogy database where a list of names of potential relatives of the killer was provided. No DNA and no other genetic information from these potential relatives was shared with others. The working group comprised of Paul Holes, Steve Kramer, Division Counsel for the LA Field Office of the FBI, genealogist Barbara Ray Becker, the Sacramento District Attorney's Office, Lieutenant Kurt Campbell, and investigative assistant Monica Kukowski began the
Damn it.
laborious process
Damn.
of building family tree. On March the 18th, 2018, Sacramento DA investigative assistant Kukowski notified the team, quote, "We just found another guy." And the answer to that one question that has gone unanswered for over 40 years revealed itself. This investigation uncovered the following about Joseph Deangelis. He grew up in Rancho Cordova. He served in the military.
Sacramento
He was
District Attorney's
engaged
Office,
to a
Lieutenant Kurt
woman in the
Campbell,
bond.
and investigative
And then he uttered
assistant
during
Monica
an ear
Kukowski
sexual assault
began
in
the
Yolo County.
laborious
He was
process.
employed as a police officer near Visalia during the
On March
ransacking series. He
18th,
left Tulare County
Sacramento
after the Officer McGowan shooting. And then he worked as an Auburn police officer during the same time period as the East Area Rapist series, but was fired for shoplifting dog food. Deangelis then moved to Southern California before returning to Sacramento. The Sacramento Sheriff's Department began following Joseph Deangelis. On April the 23rd, 2018, using an empty garbage truck, detectives collected trash discarded by Joseph Deangelis from his garbage can, which was placed on the public street for collection. The Sacramento County District Attorney Crime Lab tested tissue found in that trash and developed a DNA profile that matched not only the defendant, but also matched the DNA profile of the perpetrator in 3 Contra Costa rapes and 8 murders in Southern California. On April the 24th, 2018, Joseph Deangelis was arrested while standing on the driveway of his residence in Citrus Heights. Detectives interviewed the defendant after his arrest, confronting him with the sexual assaults in the East Area Rapist series and the murder of Brian and Katie LaJoy. They mentioned the overwhelming DNA evidence against him regarding the murder of the Smiths in Ventura and Sherry Domingo and Ray Sanchez in Santa Barbara. A few hours before the interview, detectives observed Deangelis vigorously working on his yard, jumping in and out of his truck and lifting heavy objects. Just a week before, he was seen racing his motorcycle on the freeway at high rates of speed, weaving in and out of traffic, and performing sophisticated counter-surveillance maneuvers.
Those fucking masks. He's
Sitting
gone
in
through
the
all this and
interview
he's wearing a
room, he
mask
gained
again. Like,
incoherence. But this wasn't the first time he did so. When store security detained Deangelis in 1979 for shoplifting dog repellents and hammers, he pretended to suffer a heart attack and then fought with them to the point where they had to tie him down to a chair.
wow.
When the deputies arrived, he rolled around in his chair, talked in circles, and screamed incoherently. Later that day, Deangelis admitted to the deputies that he just pretended to act crazy to avoid being arrested.
Damn.
A short while later, while sitting alone in the interview room on April the 24th, 2018, Joseph Deangelis began to talk to himself. And among other things, said, "I did. I didn't have the strength to push him out. He made me. He went with me. It was like in my head, he's a part of me. I didn't want to do those things. I pushed Jerry out and I had him after life. I did all those things. I've destroyed all their lives. So now, I got to do the first. So today, 45 years after it first started, both the people and the defendant are prepared to proceed to a resolution in these cases.
Damn.
And Your Honor, now we have the factual basis for Tulare County.
Yeah, great. Let me ask the defense counsel, first of all, as to the initial factual basis in which to be heard. Thank you.
Yo, this is lit.
The factual basis on count. Bud Snelling was a journalism professor at College of St. Clair in 1975, and the father of 16-year-old Beth Snelling, who had become a target of the Visalia ransacker in the months and weeks leading up to September of 1975. Around 2:20 a.m., September 11, 1975, Beth Snelling woke up to a man covering her nose and mouth with his hand, whispering in a low, raspy voice, "You're coming with me.
I'll be right back.
Don't scream or I'll stab you." The man then pulled Beth from her bedroom using his right hand and pulled a revolver from his back using his left hand. She described the man as 5'8" to 5'11", a white male adult with a stocky build and round face, wearing a ski mask with the eyes and nose cut out. Joseph Deangelo was 5'11" at that time, weighed 205 pounds, and was left-handed. Deangelo took Beth from her bedroom and into the family room, where he pointed the revolver at her and said, "Don't scream or I'll shoot you." Deangelo forced Beth from the residence using the rear door located between the kitchen and the family room. At this point, Beth heard her father, Claude Snelling, yell out, "Hey," and began running towards her and Deangelo. Beth witnessed Deangelo shoot her father twice from a distance of 10 feet using his left hand. Deangelo then turned and pointed the revolver in the direction of Beth and kicked her 3 times in the face before running out of the family's backyard. A bullet collected from Claude Snelling during the autopsy matched bullets fired from a .38 Miroku revolver stolen from Patrick Mono residence on August 31st, 1975, during a prior ransacking. Mr. Mono identified Joseph Deangelo from a photo stack in 2018. From a face-to-face contact that he had with Deangelo when he had interrupted him during the prowling and chased him afterwards. He got a look at his face. That prowling took place on November 23rd, 1975. Beth Snelling also identified Deangelo from the photo stack in 2018 from an incident where she had observed him peeking into her bedroom window approximately 1 month prior to the murder of her father. 5 other witnesses also identified Deangelo in 2018 from photo stacks based on individual face-to-face contacts with Deangelo during prowling and ransacking events occurring around Visalia in 1975.
Let's counsel, we should hear the factual basis as stated. Regarding count 1, the charge of murder of Claude Snelling, that count currently charges an open-ended murder to the allegation that you willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and you unlawfully, with malice aforethought, murdered Claude Snelling, which occurred September 11th, 1975, in the county of Tulare, a violation of Penal Code Section 187, Paren A, murder in the first degree. How do you plead? There's also an allegation that you personally used a firearm in the course of that murder. In violation of Penal Code Section 1222.5, do you admit or deny? Deliberately. We admit or deny it.
The CBS coverage shows his face a lot better.
Commit rape of Elizabeth Snelling having occurred on September 11th, 1975, in the county of Tulare, a violation of Penal Code Section 209. Do you admit or deny?
There's also an allegation that you personally used a firearm in the course of that murder in violation of Penal Code Section 1222.5. Do you admit or deny? Guilty. You admit or deny, sir? I admit. Regarding the uncharged act of kidnapping with intent to commit rape of Elizabeth Snelling having occurred on September 11th, 1975, in the county of Tulare, a violation of Penal Code Section 209, do you admit or deny? I admit. Thank you, Counsel. Factual basis for the uncharged attempted murder of Detective William McGowan. The Visalia ransacker committed over 100 burglaries between April of 1974 and December of 1975 in the city of Visalia.
Following the murder of Claude Snelling, efforts to apprehend the ransacker increased and included a plan to trap him during a prowling incident based at locations where he might be expected to return. On the evening of December 10, 1975, in an area that had recent ransacker activity, the Visalia Police Department set up a perimeter and set out to wait and see if the ransacker would return. Detective William McGowan position in the garage of the residence where he
I understand.
might
Take care, Angie.
based on prowling incidents that had occurred at that residence in the recent past.
I'm here. We're all here for
Positioned
you.
in the garage, Detective McGowan observed a subject walk down the side of the garage towards the rear of the residence. Detective McGowan described the subject as a white male adult 5'10" with light blonde hair, a round baby face. Based on his observations, McGowan later assisted in the creation of Joseph Deangelis. Detective McGowan approached Deangelo from behind with a flashlight. When Deangelo turned, Detective McGowan observed that he was wearing a black ski cap that was rolled up. Detective McGowan had his firearm out and announced himself as a police officer, stating, "Police, what are you doing here?" Deangelo began screaming, "Oh my God, don't hurt me. Oh my God, don't hurt me." Deangelo removed the ski cap and started running through the backyard of the residence towards the fence. Detective McGowan shot into the ground as a warning, but Deangelo continued to run. Eventually, Deangelo stopped on the other side of a slate fence, and Detective McGowan illuminated his face. Deangelo stated, "I give up. See, I've got my hands up." Detective McGowan observed Deangelo's right hand and demanded Deangelo raise his left hand that was out of view. Detective McGowan began to climb the fence to detain Deangelo. Deangelo pulled a revolver from his left jacket pocket and shot at McGowan, hitting his flashlight. Deangelo then ran off into the dark. Detective McGowan received several cuts to his face that required medical attention.
Thank you. The defense wishes to be heard as to the factual basis. Thank you. Regarding the uncharged act of attempted murder of Officer Bill McGowan having occurred on December 10th, 1975, in the county of Tulare, a violation of Penal Code Section 664/187, do you admit or deny, sir? The court finds that Mr. Deangelis made a knowing, voluntary, intelligent waiver of his rights to a jury trial, to confrontation, and against self-incrimination. The court further finds this plea and admissions are voluntary and with the understanding of the nature of these charges and the uncharged crimes as well as the consequences of this plea. The court finds there's a factual basis for the plea and the admissions. Do the people accept the plea and the conditions stated on the record? We do. The court accepts the plea and the conditions stated on the record, and based on the guilty pleas as well as the admissions as alleged in count 1, the court finds Mr. Deangelo guilty. Murder, Claude Snelling, violation of Penal Code Section 187, Friend A, murder in the first degree. The court further finds personal use of a firearm to be true, violation of Penal Code Section 1222.5, based on his admission. The people waive
This one's
referral
lagging.
of this matter to probation.
Following the factual basis for counts 4 and 5. On the weekend of December 29th and 30th,
Here we go.
1979, Deborah Manning was staying at Robert Offerman's condominium, located in the city of Toledo in the county of Santa Barbara. Deborah and Robert had planned a tennis match with friends on the morning of December 30th. Their friends, William and Joan, arrived at the Offerman residence just after 11 o'clock a.m., and there was no answer at the door. William found an open sliding glass door leading into the living room. He entered the home and discovered Deborah and Robert in the bedroom, both deceased. In the early morning hours of December 30th, 1979, the defendant, Joseph Deangelo, climbed a fence and entered the back patio area of Robert's condominium. The defendant peered into a bedroom where he could easily see down the hallway and into the master bedroom where Robert and Deborah lie asleep. The defendant then pried open the rear sliding glass door that led into the living room. When the defendant entered the locked Offerman home, he did so with the intent to rape and murder Deborah Manning, to murder Robert Offerman, and to take items from the home. The defendant found Robert and Deborah asleep in bed. He tied both their wrists with white nylon cord. He inserted his penis into Deborah's vagina without her consent and raped her. After raping her, the defendant fired his handgun into the back of Deborah's head. The bullet entered the back of her head and lodged in her brain. The defendant left Deborah lying face down on the bed, with her arms behind her back and her wrists bound with a white nylon cord. When
Whoa.
the defendant fired this fatal shot, he did so unlawfully and with malice aforethought. The defendant's decision to kill Deborah Manning was willful, deliberate, and premeditated, as evidenced by him firing his handgun at a vital part of Deborah's body as she lay with her hands down. Robert was able to remove the bindings from his wrists and stood to confront the defendant. The defendant fired his handgun 4 times at Robert. 3 bullets hit Robert. The first struck his lower neck and upper right chest and exited through his upper right back. As he started to fall, the second bullet struck Robert in the upper left chest area, lacerating his aorta, penetrating his right lung, and lodged in the right side of his chest. This was a lethal wound. A third bullet struck Robert in the left lower back area and exited through his left buttocks. The defendant then fired a 4th bullet, but missed Robert, and it lodged in the clothes dresser. Robert was found on the floor of the master bedroom with the nylon cord clutched in his left hand. When the defendant fired at Robert, he did so unlawfully and with malice aforethought. The defendant's decision to kill Robert Offerman was willful, deliberate, and premeditated, as evidenced by firing multiple gunshots at vital parts of Robert's body. The defendant rummaged through the refrigerator of Robert's home and ate leftover turkey he found wrapped in plastic. The discarded turkey bone was located just inside the sliding glass door where the defendant broke into the home, and a plastic bag containing scraps of cooked turkey was found on the patio just outside that same sliding glass door. The defendant stole a Minolta pocket camera and a doctor's medical bag from the home. The defendant also broke into an adjoining condominium which was vacant at the time. He left similar nylon cord as the kind he used to tie Deborah and Robert's wrists in the master bedroom and bathroom next door. The defendant also left similar nylon cord in the patio of another nearby condominium.
Factual based on counts 4 and 5. Thank you. Regarding count 4, charge of murder of Deborah Manning, that count currently charges an open-ended murder for the allegation that she acted willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation when you unlawfully, with malice aforethought, murdered Deborah Manning, which occurred December 30th, 1979, in the county of Santa Barbara, in violation of Penal Code Section 187 A, murder in the first degree. That charge, sir, how do you plead? Also, an allegation that you personally used a firearm in the course of that murder, a violation of Penal Code Section 1222.5. You admit or deny that allegation? Further alleged is a special circumstance of the murder of Deborah Manning, that murder was committed in the commission of rape within the meaning of Penal Code Section 261, and pursuant to Penal Code Section 190.2, C, 3, you admit the special circumstance of murder in the first degree. Further alleged is a special circumstance of the murder of Deborah Manning was committed in the commission of a birth rape within the meaning of Penal Code Section 459, in violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, friend C, friend 3, friend 5, you admit discussion of circumstance of murder of the first degree. Starting count 5, in charge of murder of Robert Kupperman. Count currently charges an open-ended murder to the allegation that you acted willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and you unlawfully and with malice aforethought murdered Robert Kupperman, which occurred December 30th, 1979, in the county of Santa Barbara, a violation of Penal Code Section 187, Part A, murder in the first degree, unequal. You personally used a firearm in the course of that murder, violation of Penal Code Section 1222.5, you admit or deny. Further alleged special circumstance of the murder of Robert Kupperman. That murder was committed through commission of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code Section 459, in violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, friend C, friend 3, friend 5. You admit the special circumstance to murder in the first degree. Thank you, Counsel.
The following is factual basis for counts 6 and 7. In the evening of July 26, 1981, Jerry Domingo is house sitting for a relative at a home in Toltec Way, the city of Toledo, in the county of Santa Barbara. The home was listed for sale, and there had been an open house earlier that day. Greg Sanchez, Jerry's friend, came over to spend the night on July 26. The home on Toltec Way is located approximately half a mile from the Offerman residence. San Jose Creek, a heavily wooded dry creek bed, runs alongside both properties. In the late morning on July 27, 1979, a realtor arrived at the home on Toltec Way to show the house to potential buyers. The realtor tried to use his pass key to open the front door, but the security chain was still engaged from the inside. The realtor walked around the house and found a rear sliding glass door open. He went inside and saw Greg on the bedroom floor, obviously deceased, and called 911. In the early morning hours of July 27, 1979, the defendant, Joseph Deangelis, removed a screen from an unlocked bathroom window at the home where Sherry and Greg were asleep in the master bedroom. The defendant reached inside the window and unlocked a door that leads into the bathroom from the rear yard. When the defendant entered the locked home on Toltec Way, he did so with the intent to rape and murder Sherry Domingo and to murder Greg Sanchez. As the defendant entered the master bedroom, he encountered Greg Sanchez, who was still in bed. The defendant fired his handgun at Greg. The bullet struck Greg's left cheek. This was a non-fatal wound. Greg, bleeding from the gunshot wound to his face, stood up to encounter the defendant. The defendant then forcefully beat Greg in the head with a blunt instrument, delivering 24 wounds and tears. None of these wounds was instantaneously lethal, and Greg later died due to massive brain damage and hemorrhaging from the blunt force trauma. After beating Greg to death, the defendant emptied the hanging clothes from the closet on top of Greg to conceal his body. When the defendant savagely beat Greg 24 times in the head, the defendant did so unlawfully and with malice aforethought. The defendant's decision to kill Greg Sanchez was willful, deliberate, and premeditated, as evidenced by beating him in the head at least 24 times, causing massive brain damage and bleeding, after shooting him once in the face was unsuccessful in killing him. The defendant forced Sherry onto her stomach in bed. He tied her wrists together, then brought her ankles to her wrists and bound them to her wrists. The defendant inserted his penis into Sherry's vagina without her consent and raped her. The defendant then beat Sherry in the head more than 10 times with the same weapon he used to kill Greg. One of the blows to Sherry's head caused a large, gaping wound and massive skull fracture on the right side of her head, which would have caused instantaneous death. The defendant removed the bindings from Sherry's wrists and ankles and covered her body with a blanket in bed. A short length of hemp twine was found on the floor next to where Sherry lay. The blanket covering Sherry's body was later tested for biological evidence. Semen stains on the blanket were analyzed. The major male DNA profile from the stains was determined to be consistent with the defendant's DNA profile. The probability that another person randomly selected from the population will have the same DNA profile is approximately 1 in 530 quintillion African Americans, 1 in 2.8 quintillion Caucasians, and 1 in 3.4 quintillion Hispanics. This provides strong evidence that the defendant, Joseph Deangelo, is the source of the DNA from the semen stains on this blanket. When the defendant savagely beat Sherry more than 10 times in the head, the defendant did so unlawfully and with malice aforethought. The defendant's decision to kill Sherry Domingo was willful, deliberate, and premeditated, as evidenced by tying her wrists and ankles together and beating her in the head at least 10 times with a blunt instrument.
The factual basis on counts 6 and 7. Regarding count 6, charge of murder, Sherry Domingo. That count currently charges an open-ended murder with the allegation that you acted willfully, deliberately, premeditation, unlawfully, with malice aforethought, murder, Sherry Domingo, which occurred July 27, 1979, in the county of Santa Barbara. Violation of Penal Code Section 187, murder in the first degree. How do you plead? Further alleged is a special circumstance to the murder of Sherry Domingo. That murder was committed in the commission of rape. Within the meaning of Penal Code Section 261, pursuant to Penal Code Section 190.2, Paren A, Paren 17, Paren 3, you admit the special circumstance to murder in the first degree. Further alleged is a special circumstance to the murder of Sherry Domingo that murder was committed in the commission of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code Section 459, violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, Paren A, Paren 17, Paren 7. Do you admit that special circumstance to murder in the first degree? Regarding count 7, in the charge of murder of Greg Sanchez, that count currently charges an open-ended murder to the allegation that you acted willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation when you unlawfully, with malice aforethought, murdered Greg Sanchez, which occurred July 27, 1979, in the county of Santa Barbara, violation of Penal Code Section 187, Paren A, murder in the first degree. How do you plead? Also an allegation that you personally used a firearm in the course of that murder, violation of Penal Code Section 22.5. That allegation. Further alleged a special circumstance of the murder of Greg Sanchez that murder was committed in the commission of a burglary. In the meaning of Penal Code Section 459, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, Paren A, Paren 17, Paren 7. Admit the special circumstance of murder in the first degree. Court finds that Mr. Deangelis made a knowing, voluntary, intelligent waiver of his rights to jury trial, to confrontation, and the right to self-incrimination. Court further finds that the plea was made voluntarily and with the understanding the nature of these charges Court accepts the plea conditions stated on the record. As to count 4, the court does find Mr. Deangelis guilty of murder in the first degree of Jeffrey Mann. The court also finds true that Mr. Deangelis personally used a firearm within the Penal Code section 22.5 based on his admission. The court further finds that the murder was committed in the course of a rape within the meaning of 190.2, friend C, friend 3, based on his admission. Finds that the murder was committed in the course of a burglary. 90.2, friend C, friend 3, friend 5, based on his admission. Count 5, the court does find Mr. Deangelis guilty. Count 1, violation of Penal Code section 187, part A, murder in the first degree, Robert Hoffman. The court further finds true that Mr. Deangelis did personally use a firearm within the Penal Code section 22.5 based on his admission. Further find that murder was committed in the course of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code section 190.2, friend C, friend 3, friend 5, based on his admission. As to count 6, the court finds Mr. Deangelis guilty of murder in the first degree, violation of Penal Code section 187, friend A, Sherry Domingo. The court further finds true that murder was committed in the course of a rape within the meaning of Penal Code section 190.2, friend A, friend 17, friend 3, based on his admission. Further finds that murder was committed in the course of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code section 190.2, friend A, friend 17, friend 7, based on his admission. Count 7. The court does find Mr. Deangelis guilty of murder in the first degree, violation of Penal Code section 187 of Great Sanchez. The court further finds the allegation that he personally used a firearm in violation of Penal Code section 22.5 to be true based on his admission. Further finds the murder was committed in the course of a burglary within the Penal Code section 190.2, friend A, friend 17, friend 7, based on his admission. The people waive referral to this matter to the probation department for a formal probation report pursuant to California Penal Code section 1203, friend 3, friend 4, and in its place requesting 1203.2.
Yes, Mayor.
Defense like waive as well. Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else in this matter before you proceed?
Damn!
Representative from Ventura, please. Approach the podium.
Angie, I love you. Oh man, I love you. I love your sister. I love your mom. I love your granddad. I love your grandma, man. I love you guys so much.
There's one thing, Your Honor, on,
I'm here for you
counts
100%,
6 and 7.
and you know that.
Correct date, I apologize for missing this, July 27th, 1980.
Very good. I saw the charging document was 79, but I also heard it was 81, so I followed your lead.
I apologize for that.
Right,
It should be
1981.
1981 for counts 6 and 7.
Defense was to be heard as to the date. Okay, thank you for that correction.
Wait, what? What?
Following is a factual basis for counts 8 and 9 from Ventura County.
Here we go.
On March 16,
Love you,
1980,
Jen.
43-year-old Lyman Smith, who was a former deputy district attorney for the county of Ventura, and his 34-year-old wife, Charlene Smith, were found tied up, bloody, and dead with their guns at their home located at 573 High Point Drive in Ventura. That ends to be alive the evening of March 13th, when Charlene Smith had a conversation with her former mother-in-law, Isabel, about getting ready for dinner and taking the children to school. Isabel said that Charlene sounded the happiest she had ever heard. 3 days later, on the afternoon of Sunday, March 16, 1980, Lyman Smith's 12-year-old son, Gary, rode his bike to his father's and stepmother's home to do chores. He knocked on the door, got no answer, and entered through the unlocked front door. Gary saw couch cushions on the floor in the living room. Drawers were opened, and the Smiths normally well-kept home had been ransacked, or as Gary described it, made to look as though it had been next. A carton of milk and a box of crackers were left out and open. Dirty dishes and a knife were on the counter near the sink. Gary walked to the master bedroom where an alarm clock was still beeping. There, he found his father and his stepmother, bloody and still, lying underneath his cupboard. Young Gary called the police and waited outside to help. A massive investigation led by the Ventura Police Department, which later included the Ventura Sheriff's Office, the Ventura County District Attorney's Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, has determined that this defendant, Deangelis, entered and burglarized the home of Lyman and Charlene Smith sometime between the late night hours of March 13, 1980 and March 16, 1980. This defendant accosted the Smiths in their bedroom and either he-tied Lyman Smith's wrists together behind his back and his ankles together with drapery cord, or he forced Charlene Smith to do so. And then the defendant tightly tied Charlene Smith's wrists together behind her back and at some point also tied her ankles together, again with drapery.
Let me step up to the microphone.
That night, while her husband was tied up, the defendant raped Charlene Smith against her will by means of force, violence, duress, menace, and fear of unlawful bodily injury to herself and her husband. The defendant left his semen inside of Charlene's vagina.
Hey.
2 samples of which were later collected by Dr. Kirk.
Oh, okay, that's cool, man. Thank you so much. I understand, man. Hey, I'm here if you need me. All right, appreciate it, Tim. Sorry, that was work.
On the right side of the master bed. This murder was willful, premeditated, deliberate, and committed with malice aforethought.
I missed all of that.
Both of Mr. Smith's wrists
Damn,
and ankles
missed all of
were
that.
still bound. His wrist behind his back, he was unable to move. The defendant struck Mr. Smith with a log of firewood, causing blunt force injuries to the back right portion of his head, and a depressed skull fracture and extensive tearing of the scalp. Mr. Smith also suffered at least one massive blow to his left leg. During his commission of burglary and during his commission of or immediately after the rape of Mrs. Smith, the defendant also willfully, with premeditation, deliberation, and malice aforethought, murdered Charlene Smith while she was lying in bed next to her husband, nude from the waist down. Charlene's wrists and ankles were also still bound, her wrists tied behind her back. The defendant struck Charlene's wrist with the same log of firewood he used to murder her husband, causing extensive subdural hemorrhaging and tearing of her scalp, and a massive depressed skull fracture across the base of her skull. The defendant left his murder weapon, the firewood log, laying on the bed near his victim's feet, off the covers. Similar logs of firewood were stacked just outside the north wall of the Smith's home, 2 feet away from the master bathroom window, which gave a clear view into their bedroom. The semen detected from the vaginal swab collected during the autopsy of Charlene Smith was analyzed for DNA. A single source DNA profile was generated from the sperm cell fraction of this vaginal swab. This DNA profile is identical to the DNA profile of the defendant zero. The probability that another person randomly selected from the population will have the same DNA profile is approximately 1 in 4.7 octillion Caucasians,
Damn.
1 in 1.5 octillion Hispanics.
So the thing with the Smiths is the Smiths case has been,
Thank you, Counsel. I-
over the years, has been more analyzed, more open. I mean, there were pictures of their bodies released years ago before the controversy with Michelle McNamara. That picture was already displayed on, what was it, something else. It was on some other documentary.
Deliberately.
So everything we've heard is
lawfully and with malice and forethought.
pretty straightforward here.
Darlene Smith.
Still,
which occurred
Jennifer,
on or about March 13th, 1980,
Jen.
through March 16th,
love you.
1980, in the county of Ventura.
Always.
In violation of Penal Code Section 187, Pren A, murder in the first degree. How do you plead? It's further alleged as a special circumstance to the murder of Charlene Smith that murder was committed in the commission of rape. Penal Code Section 261 and pursuant to Penal Code Section 190.2, Pren A, Pren 17, Pren 3, you admit that special circumstance to murder in the first degree. Further alleged as a special circumstance to the murder of Charlene Smith was committed in the commission of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code Section 459, a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, Pren A, Pren 17, Pren 7, you admit that special circumstance to murder in the first degree.
The diamond knot is explained. Now it makes sense.
Regarding count 9, the charge of murder of Lyman Smith, that count currently charges an open-ended murder, and to the allegation that you acted willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, when you unlawfully, with malice and forethought, murdered Lyman Smith, occurred on or about March 13, 1980, to March 16, 1980, in the county of Ventura, violation of Penal Code Section 187, Pren A, murder in the first degree. To that charge, how do you plead? Further alleged as a special circumstance, the murder of Lyman Smith was committed in the commission of burglary within the meaning of Penal Code Section 459 and a violation of Penal Code Section 190.2, Pren A, Pren 17, Pren 7. You admit that special circumstance of murder in the first degree. Court finds that Mr. Deangelis made a knowing, voluntary, intelligent waiver of his right to a jury trial for confrontation and against self-incrimination. The court further finds the plea was made voluntarily and with the understanding the nature of these charges pending, as well as the consequences of the plea. The court does find as a factual basis for the plea admissions, the people accept between the conditions stated on the record. Thank you. The court accepts between the conditions stated on the record as to count 8. The court does find Mr. Deangelis guilty. Violation of Penal Code Section 187, Pren A, murder in the first degree of Charlene Smith. The court further finds that murder was committed in the course of a rape within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2, Pren A, Pren 17, Pren 3. The court further finds that murder was committed in the course of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2,
This is insane.
Pren A, Pren 17, Pren 7. That's count 9. The court does find Mr. Deangelis guilty. Violation of Penal Code Section 187, Pren A, murder in the first degree of Lyman Smith. The court further finds that murder was committed in the course of a burglary within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2, Pren A, Pren 17, Pren 7, based on his admission. The people waive referral of this matter to probation department for a formal report pursuant to California Penal Code Section Total 3, Pren 4, Pren B, Pren 4, and in its place requesting 1203C report.
Yes, we do.
Defense waive as well. Yes. Anything else from either counsel on this matter? We're going to go ahead and take our morning recess. It's approximately
Going to break.
10:45, and we will start back up at quarter after. Thank you. Recess.
Damn. Oh boy. Well, here we are. There we are. And there that was. So, from what I gathered, that we didn't know, I did not know that Manning was raped. I did not know that. That first and foremost, that's one that blew my mind because that's just something that's just something that we never knew. We never knew that there was a sexual assault, and in Sherry's too. He raped both of them. So why was the DNA not presented before, like in the case of the Smiths or the Harringtons or Manuela or Janelle? Like why now is that relevant to? Only now is it relevant to like confirm that. It's I'm sure these are answers we'll get from the various attorneys' offices. But wow, wow. Oh, it is 1 point. Wow, you weren't kidding. Hell. No, I don't think that it was. Man, this is a lot. This is a lot. Grab your taco sticks. Did the official stream crash? No, they're taking a 30-minute recess. Just like in any other court case, it's going to be like a 30-minute, just a break. Everybody go take some potty break because they got a lot to read through. This was only the Santa Barbara uh, segment. Santa Barbara and Ventura and Tulare, and I got man, that flew. That, when it pushed him out, pushed Jerry out. That's what he called himself. Angie, welcome, honey. Angie says it is a lot to take in. I don't even know what to think. Well, no matter what, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Debbie Domingo's daughter, Angie. She never got to meet her grandma, and today is a very powerful day for her and her family. Um, Angie, I love you so much. Like, I love you so much. Your mom, I love her so much. I love Rod. Uh, you guys have been through the ringer here for so long, and this journey has been something else. And no matter what, I will always be here as your friend. I will always, always, always be here as somebody you can come to when you need me. This, I can't imagine what you do. I mean, I'm just some nobody, and my head is like, I love you too, Weston Bell. It's not owed. It's respected, and I I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope I hope somewhere in this there's some clarity. Have you spoken with your mom today by chance? Like it within the last um, since the recess began? See, Manning and Sherry were assaulted for sure, but the DNA was not present. McGowan was shot in the commission of hopping a fence, and there was more go between. Angie McCormick says, I don't think she has her phone in the courtroom. No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't. I don't know if she made it outside yet, um, but I'm sure her and Shelly and the rest of them are being swarmed right now. CBS just talking. We've watched it. You know. Oh man, damn. I've mostly been listening with OCC, checking the screen. When I've looked, I haven't noticed the facial expressions. I'm sure the facial expressions are being analyzed as we speak. Probably avoiding outside, says Angie. I don't blame her. I bet it's a circus out there. All that social distancing going on inside the building. I can't outside. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to be there. I wanted to be one of those people. I'd hold up the sign. I had an idea for a sign way back when. I can't remember specifically what it said, but I changed the acronym to ERONs. And for every letter, it was something. Everyone always remembers our. I can't remember where I was going with it, but I was trying to change the words around. It was something about love. Wow. CBS is about a minute behind court YouTube. Yep. He blames it on Jerry, the voice inside him pushed away. Damn. I'm sorry if I'm like this and like that stuff about Angie's grandma and Dr. Manning. I can't believe we didn't know that. Like that's staggering. That's that's I can't believe that. I still can't believe that all that time like I wouldn't have made that stupid Canon 11 video all those years ago. I wouldn't have done that. Or I'd have done it differently. Because that was a question I had years ago. Like, how do how do you tie Manning and Offman to it? How do you tie them to it? In Sherry and Greg's case, I could understand because there was always a mention of the DNA on the bed or the bedspread. Came up with wild, outlandish theories over how it got there. And now we know conclusively. It's, I can't, man. Ugh. So he calls himself Jerry. Big in the movie Black Christmas did, in fact, have a lot to do with how he offended. When that uncle and that relative Mr. Huddle was talking about he liked horror movies, that got me. If you didn't know, I'm a massive horror movie fan. And there was a forum member some time back. There was a discussion about the 1974 horror movie Black Christmas, and there's certain things in that movie that align to the way the Iran's uh, behavior was described, and I didn't think much of it until now. Now, yeah, I could see it. I could see it. I could totally see it. He was obsessed with violence. Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the CBS thing now. It looks like outside the courtroom's not too crowded. It's probably being Joe Wapo. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Is the only stipulation of his plea deal to say admit or guilty? Yes. Yeah, that seems to be. It's a Gary Ridgway situation. You remember the Green River Killer and how that went down? That's exactly what's happening here. I would hope that he would be required to answer some questions or detail his actions like they did with Raider. The difference between and Raider versus Ridgway and Deangelo. Ridgway and Deangelo just want this shit to be over with. We're talking on the forum now in the shout box, which is pretty lit right now. In the CBS format, you can see his facial expressions, and you're watching his facial expressions. Watch when they go through the uh, the actual commission of the crimes. Those details, his face perks up. But that's about as far as we get with it. I think that's as far as we get. Raider, on the other hand, he embellished it. He overdid it. He when he was arrested, he thought he was doing the police a favor. You know, he thought they were buddies. J Plot says that is a legal requirement. Yes, it is absolutely a legal requirement. Well, what I'm saying is what they did with Raider was okay with talking. He personally was. He wanted to talk, and I mean, he got everything on that. I mean, just go back and watch that video. Watch the way he talks. Watch the way he presents himself. He was excited about it. And when he was answering the questions, he was. I mean, it's like he never forgot it. But he was ready for that. D'Angelo and Ridgeway want this to be over with. They don't want to say shit. Like they want this kind of thing to just be done. But they can't help it. That's the way I'm looking at it. They can't help it. They're sat center stage against their will, and they are answering for the actions committed. Joe Wapo says, I'm concerned about him not admitting to other crimes. I personally think he's responsible for Donna and Joe Richmond, but there must be other charges out there, even why the Maguires were targeted. Well, I noticed they're going by county. And right now, just the stuff we're learning in the Smiths case, not too much was there that wasn't already known, because that was a lot of people knew about that. It's the little intricacies of each one that are kind of explaining loose ends and what the crimes we already know. The the original Night Stalker murders, the East Area Rapist murders, the Visalia Ransacker murder. That's all being explored. And I'm sure after this, I'm sure other charges will tackle. J plea deal requires the waiver of rights we heard in the pleading to actual finding of guilty. That's like when the judge is. Tell me if I'm incorrect, please. That's after the DA comes up, specifies the charges, talks, and then the judge repeats it and asks him for the admission of guilt or the admission in general. That's what that is, correct? Go. Whoa. February 2nd, 2020, multiple personality disorder. Dugard says 1978 sex state undergrad attorney specializing in this defense was a speaker, Michael Sands, the very same who represented JJD in his shoplifting case. He was probably still buddies with a lot of officers. Yes, that is the second part. Legal requires legally no more than that. I'm gonna go visit the bathroom real quick and get some water. I'll be right back and we'll reconvene ourselves. Oh, on deep ends for this. Wesley, you are slipping. Not that bad off yet. I just had a big breakfast. I was intending to stay awake all throughout all of last night into this, but sleep deprivation had other plans. TBS doesn't allow us to sling it TV. Like that's why I'm going between these like it's bouncing. Oh, bro. Poor Angie. Poor Debbie. Poor Jen. Mannings. Offermans. Snellings. Like that. This is why raising this money to keep them going was important. Why them raising that money to go and do the things they've done was so important. This is why. Because today is not an easy one. Today is not an easy one at whatsoever for anybody. Just bought this flat screen. So, thoughts, concerns, and yes, it is that time. It is that time. Not Miller time, Ice House time. I guess that's what she bought me. Whatever. Guilty. I needed that. That was a wonderful feel. I should have made a pot roast. I should have made a pot roast. We should have all made pot roast. It is 2 p.m. No shame there. Oh, man, that phone call I got was my boss. And he said, "You have my permission to get drunk today." And I've been running 7 days, 6 and 7 days a week. And today I was supposed to go in tonight, but he said, "Don't worry about it." They heard, actually, they heard about this. They know how serious I am about this shit. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that a lot. That was cool. That was classy. Victory roast. Dude, as soon as I said that, somebody in the comments in the shout box said the same thing. Mr. Gold Rush. My man Gold Rush. Mr. Rush said the same thing. Let's see. gotta figure out. Let's see. Not a lot shaking, just a lot of talking right now. Going ready for round 2 of this, man. I don't know. That was pretty raw. Like, that was rough. Just to clarify things we've learned today. The stuff we learned that we didn't know before. The one that shook me the most was learning that Deborah Manning and Sherry were both sexually assaulted. I never ever knew that. Never ever knew that. And I didn't know that McGowan was shot in the commission of hopping a fence like Rodney Miller. Like that's all news to me. 30 minutes. 30-minute recess. Jay Plot. Hey, if when you're around July 4th, check out the Heavy Rebel Weekender online. Possibly. We will probably be working that day, that night, because holidays are always busy. Because we're the only restaurant here for like 20 miles, and our delivery service stays floored most of the time. But I'll try to. Thank you. Oh man. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Is it a separate? Is it a separate stream? So, by the way, I understand it on CBS live stream, you can see they get a lot of his facial reactions, which are bizarre, to say the least. But you get a lot more out of that. This one, the face shield is like reflective, and it makes him look like a. Oh, here we go. It's up. It is normally in person. Confirm some of his statements made upon arrest. Oh yes, absolutely. When the first gentleman was speaking, um, the Tulare County representative, when he was speaking, no, before him, I can't remember the fellow's name, but when he was speaking, he and he brought up the Jerry thing. Like that was the whole Jerry thing. Wow, wow. On what, CBS or YouTube?
Please remain seated and come to order. Department 24 is back in session. Thank you, folks. As a scheduling purposes, we'll be taking lunch at noon, and the doors will open back up at 1 o'clock. And we'll try to get promptly started at 1:15. Back in session, the record reflect all councils present, as well as Mr. Deangelis.
Yeah, CBS is definitely the better images, but they have a lag.
As a representative from Contra Costa County, California, please state your name.
Honor, I will be proceeding first with the factual basis for count 24. On or about October 7th of 1978, in the city of Concord and the county of Contra Costa, Jane Doe number 10 and her husband, John Doe number 9, went to bed at approximately 11:30 p.m. John Doe 9 recalled being awoken by a sound and seeing a male standing at the foot of his bed. That male was the defendant, Joseph Deangelo. Deangelo was holding a flashlight in his left hand and pointing a revolver at John Doe number 9, which was held in his right. The defendant then said, quote, "I just want food and money, that's all. I'll kill you if you don't do what I say." Jane Doe number 10 woke up at this point, and the defendant told her husband to turn over and put his hands behind his back. He then threw several shoestrings at Jane Doe and told her to tie up her husband.
Lurch,
She
thanks
wasn't
for the
moving
heads
fast
up. It's
enough
about
for his
time.
liking,
Yes.
so the defendant took over and finished the job. The defendant then went into their closet and retrieved more shoestrings from the shoes that he found. He then used those shoestrings to tie up Jane Doe's hands and her feet while pointing a knife at her throat and saying, quote,
Sonny.
"I'll kill you if you don't do everything I say."
No, not Sonny.
He then told Jane Doe and her husband to remain lying face down and stated, quote, "If you see me, I'll have to kill you." The defendant then began going through dresser drawers, jewelry boxes, and their respective wallet and purse. He continued to rummage through the house for another half hour, returning to the bedroom. He had taken dishes from the kitchen and placed those dishes on top of both of their backs as they lay face down in the bed. He left the room again and continued to rummage through the house. He
Wait a minute.
returned back to the bedroom and cut the shoestring around Jane Doe number 10's feet. He told her to stand up and said, quote, "Look, or I'll cut your fucking head off." He then had her walk in front of him while holding the knife at her left side, the left side of her throat, and continued to threaten her that if she did not do what he said, that he would kill her and everyone in the house, which included their baby boy who was asleep in another room.
Oh shit.
He then walked her to the family room where he blindfolded her and told her to